The way my first ever full league racing season ended was not what I expected. In fact, how the WMSC III America season ended as a whole, I don't think was what anyone expected. With 5 races down, 3 to go, and I'm 5th in the standings, tied on points with 2 other drivers, I was hoping that I could iron out the silly, unforced errors and finish strong. This video is the highlight of the final 3 rounds of my season, and there are some personal favourite moments in there, which you'll see why. Let's get into it. Here's how the season ended. So there's 3 minutes to go until the briefing. My best time is a 46.5, which was fastest in the server, but as you can see, Max has gone better. So it's good to be at least though on the pace with Max. I think his long run pace is going to be quicker than mine though. But all that is academic because there's 3 people here. Really kind of takes away from it when this is the amount of people there are, you know. However, at least one of the people who had turned up was championship leader Max Heyman, so even if all I needed to do was finish half the race to ensure I scored one of the easiest podium finishes of all time, I could at least push myself against a multiple race winner and title contender. As with every RSL event, the practice server was open 1 to 2 weeks ahead of the event, then a final 20-minute practice session, 10-minute qualifying, which is a private session where you're alone on track, a final 10-minute warm-up, and then the 30 minutes plus 1 lap race. That's the structure for every race you're about to see in this video, but we're going to focus purely on qualifying and the race. And in this instance, because there was only 3 people present, practice and warm-up were drastically cut short anyway.
So, as usual, watch the red light. I'm quite, strict with it. So, good luck. We'll do these 10 minutes and then, you know, we can go take a pee real fast and, yeah, we'll jump in the race.
You join me with just over 3 minutes of qualifying to go, and it's quite a short lap, so there's plenty of time to get in plenty of laps, and me and Max traded places quite a few times. He took provisional pole first, then I held it for like a middle portion of the session, then I improved my lap, but simultaneously Max then went even quicker, and that's the gap you see between us now, 0.044 of a second. So, let's go for a lap around the Buenos Aires circuit, and you'll be forgiven for thinking, hey, didn't they race here in Formula 1? Yes, but not this layout. We're doing essentially an outer loop version of the track. Turn 1, when you're light on fuel and have fresh tyres, it's completely flat. It's just about getting the right angle, and I do. 0.08 of a second up coming out of that one. Turn 2, also flat, slightly less challenging, just gentle through. I cut a bit of the inside, doesn't scrub off the speed. In fact, I think it helped. 0.1 of a second up. Coming up to the final corner, this isn't a challenge if, say, you were set up for the normal layout of the track, but because you are set up for such a low downforce version, you've got to tiptoe it through, and I do scrub off quite a bit of speed. Took it in second gear, not sure if that was the right decision, but I'm still up as we head towards the line. Right. Come on, go. Unfortunately, I would not go quicker, and I'd miss out on pole position by 0.017 of a second. So close again to a pole. I feel like Max is going to be a lot quicker through this corner.
Watch out, yellow flag.
One of them when he gets away. So I've got an outside shot at beating him, but I've got to be perfect. But I feel like he's going to be quicker. Now don't worry, I did work out how to make TeamSpeak stop beeping at me because I was on mute. I fixed it, it's fine, don't worry. Anyway, we are lined up once again alongside Max Heyman on the front row of the grid. I had a little look up the inside at Indy. Do we do it again? Starts have been pretty strong for me this season, throughout, with the exception of like one race. This time, no different. To the inside, and we go side by side into turn 1. And I get my nose ahead and into the lead of the race, but the move is by far not done.
Left side. Still there. Clear. Clear.
Decide not to go too wide into turn 2 and let Max take the lead. Now, Mark Wittmann is obviously still there, but I wasn't really thinking about him that much, I must admit, because he'd not really practiced coming into the race. He was definitely slower than us, as you can see. He didn't brake anywhere near as late as me and Max did, so I was hoping that we could drop him and I could focus purely on Max. Already, he's got a 0.6 of a second gap between us. I do not want to break the toe. The slipstream here will be invaluable for mounting an attack. The next few corners, and indeed the next couple of laps, will be vital. Ah, yeah. What a dick. Got sucked into trying to get on the throttle too early. Yeah, as I mentioned there, I was just thinking like 2 corners ahead. I was thinking if I get a good exit out of here, I could make a move into turn 1 or maybe here on the next lap, but neglected to then think about what I was doing there in the moment. It's a mistake we've seen before, and what a costly time to make it. It might have just cost me a shotter to win. Surveying the damage, lap 6, 5 minutes into the race, and the gap is settling at about 8 seconds between me and Max as I just come out of this final corner, and I've now got to try and clear Mark Wittmann as well without losing too much time. And Mark, even though he hadn't practiced, yes, he was slower, but he certainly wasn't sluggish. This could be a problem.
Car left. Clear left.
Thankfully, problem solved. Mark just pushing it a bit too hard would become a theme for the afternoon. Now, to try and hunt down Max. The gap, 8 seconds. 21 minutes to go. The gap not coming down, but I'd noticed that my lap times and Max's were very similar, and I was hoping to try and maybe get a fastest lap in, just to make him know that I'm still there. And I decide to change approach to the final corner. I go down to first gear, see if it gets me any quicker, just to see if I can get more traction on exit. And it seems like that was the right decision. A little shot across the bow for Max. Don't think he'll be rattled by that, but it'll maybe just give him something to think about. Maybe if I can force him to try and outdo me, then he can make a mistake. The halfway point of the race, and the gap not really coming down that much, maybe a few tenths swing either way. Mark in the meantime just ahead of us, but going a lap down. He heads into the pits after another spin causes damage, and unfortunately it wouldn't be the last time he'd end up in the pits that afternoon. But he's out of the way, at least as a competitive worry. My focus lasered onto Max. I was very happy that my lap times were very consistent, staying in the mid 46 seconds. But the gap just wasn't coming down at this point, so I just had to keep plugging away in the hopes that maybe he was burning out his tyres, pushing so hard. Just over 11 minutes to go, and my pace was still good. In fact, I felt really consistent, the most consistent I'd been all season, at 46.5. But as you can see on the next lap, now it's closer to 7 seconds than it is to 8. The gap is finally starting to shut. And one of the telling things is my pace wasn't getting any quicker. It was holding pretty much the same, as you can see here, another 46.5. Over the next 5 minutes, it became apparent that maybe his tyres were going off. He was almost losing a second on the road for every minute of race time. I could now see Max. I might have a chance. However, there was still a wild card in the mix in the form of Mark Wittmann. At the minute, he's just ahead of Max. And he'd done a good job of staying out the way, but part of me was hoping that maybe, just by accident, he'd do a bad job for a second.
Watch out, yellow flag.
Yeah, unfortunately that's kind of the opposite of what I wanted. So now, Max clear of Mark, Mark in front of me. Oh, please, Mark, don't hold me up too much. Thank you, Mark. You have no idea how grateful I was that he moved out of the way in that moment. 90 seconds to go, plus 1 lap, the gap down to just over 2 seconds. And what was becoming noticeable is I was gaining a majority of that time through this final corner, where obviously Max needed grip, and he clearly didn't have that much. Looking down at my tyres, as expected, my outside tyres almost dead, but if that's what mine were like, I could only imagine what Max's were. The gap now under 2 seconds. Unfortunately, Mark, just out of the pits, bails out, doesn't get in the way of Mark, which means once again he's between us. So I am hoping he's going to do a carbon copy move and just move out of the way heading up to the final corner. I can maybe get a little bit of slipstream off him, so actually it becomes a bit of a benefit. Is he going to move? He does. Thank goodness for that. We head towards the line to start what would be the penultimate lap. There are 2 laps to go. The gap just over a second. Would I be able to catch Max Heyman?
White flag.
Dirty air. Too far back.
Caution. Yellow flag.
Oh, what a race. If only I'd not spun. What a race.
Microphone activated.
Good race, Max. That was...
Oh, congratulations to Max. That was close in the end.
Oh my god, my tire was
expect
dead.
Yeah, I thought so much.
Oh my god.
You pushed too much as usual. Interesting. I didn't expect it anymore after that spins in the beginning, but yeah, still finished pretty close. So I think the points are pretty clear. I think Max extends his championship lead. Ash will catch up. I think maybe be second or something.
Well, from an anticlimax of a poor turnout to almost... almost. Imagine if I hadn't spun. Mercifully, numbers were back up a little bit for Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, but only to 6 entrants. Max Heyman could seal the championship with a round to go, but I was going to try and make at least a bit of a fight of it, if I could, only half a second between us when the practice server closed ahead of the event. Everyone, with the exception of Max, hopped into one voice channel for the race. However, the only people with mics were the back row motorsports duo of Jacob Clark and Lucas Hamilton. And as the clock ticked down to qualifying, Jacob broke some news that there would be an extra challenge for this event.
That's what. So we're not going to have race control. God.
Oh, we know we are, because Kinezo's make it after qualifying. No, during qualifying.
Yeah.
No, he just sent. I'm on my way home, but I won't make it in time. So you guys will need to sort it out on track.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Hello, torpedo.
Well, it's a good thing we're on the same voice channel.
Yeah, Ash, you're the steward. So you're recording and you're the steward. So you pretty much determine what happens here.
That is.
And if you thought race direction plans had gone awry, let me tell you about my qualifying. The first 2 laps I did, on both of them, breached track limits at 2 different points of the lap, and yeah, invalidated them, so wasted half the session. Then got a very tentative banker lap in, just to make sure I did qualify, good enough for the front row, but it was being consolidated by the fact that that half-second gap between me and Max had just ballooned wide open. Sure, I wasn't doing my best driving, even still, as you can see as we go through turns 1 and 2, and then I try and overcompensate by overpowering out of it. But even if I was doing my quickest times, Max would still be clear. He had just come and found an extra gear. So I was doing this lap just trying to make sure I could start on the front row and hold off Dej. So, to the end of Sector 1, power down and down the de facto back straight. And as you can see, I'm still fighting the car a little bit. But you can see how much that the delta in the bottom left corner is going to fluctuate. Flick down through the gears. This outside curb there is just where I'd breach track limits on one of those occasions. I'm right on the limit there. Get a little bit further out and it's lap gone. But as you can see, that was obviously one of the areas where I've been tentative. So I'm now 3/10 up on my previous best, but a cavernous 8/10 down on Max. Out of the hairpin we go, and towards the chicane. And I was really worried I was going to struggle for pace through the chicane, but actually I managed to get it and quite enjoyed running through it. Obviously, based on the gap between me and Max, I was slow coming through it, but getting through it nonetheless, so at least I wasn't worried about it from a race perspective. Now as we head towards the line, 10 seconds to go, I'd get one more crack at it.
You cut the track.
Why did
And I
I?
spun. Fuck off.
Huh?
I spun on turn 2. I crossed the line with 6 seconds to go and spun on turn 2.
Why did I agree to race in this race?
I breached track limits at turn 1 and just also got across the line just in time. Another Heyman Baker front row. Even if I'd put in my best lap, I still think there'd been over a second between me and Max. Mark Wittmann would join after qualifying and start from the back to complete the 6-car grid. Now, as we lined up for the start of the race, Jacob had a slight issue, which very quickly became everyone's issue.
Why am I? Why? What? I'm not lined up properly.
Yeah, why are you so far back?
Oh, I was too far back.
Why are you reversing?
Because I thought I was too. I thought I was too. Will you just reset me, game? I don't know where I am. This is all strange to me.
My brakes are dying! Please,
What
please.
I don't know where to go.
You're so far back. Look, stop.
Oh, there we go. Thank God for that.
Green, green, green.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Apologies, Max. That was absolutely me trying to go in on cold brakes.
Car right.
Bye, everybody. I'll see you guys.
Car left. Clear left.
I've lost my mark around twice now. Sorry,
Caution
Dej.
flag is out.
Okay.
I'm not last.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Thanks to Lucas's unintentional murder of Dej, which we all saw, Mark was now my nearest competitor. But fortunately, there was a second between us, which meant I didn't have to worry too much about what was going on behind me. I could try to continue to focus on Max once again. But this was not Buenos Aires. He was incredibly quick. Just 8 minutes into the race, and he's got a 5-second lead. Fortunately, I was 10 seconds clear of Mark, meaning I had time to just not worry too much, just try and focus on getting quicker. And the main thing was I knew my race pace was even further off where I wanted it to be. Really unhappy with my best lap, so I decided to push it a bit.
How many tractors for a penalty? 3.
Watch out. Yellow flag.
Oh no, Ash, no!
Oh, that's me trying to push to go faster, even though Max is just driving away from me, but just trying to personal best it. It's wholly unnecessary. I think Max should try and have a pit stop and see if he can still win. That would be fun. Unfortunately, no sign of that here. But to keep me entertained while I drove around in my no man's land were the sounds of Lucas and Jacob's battles.
Around the outside. Over the grass. Oh no! No! Damn it! I had it, dude. I just got gas. God damn it!
Just over 10 minutes to go, still in my no man's land, and everyone did an excellent job to just try and keep me on my toes.
Hi, Ash.
Hi.
I hate my life.
We all do, it's fine, don't worry.
I hope I was out of the way enough.
You were, that was fine.
Oh my god! It's just flipped.
What?
It's just flipped coming next.
You done a Vitman.
Lucas, are you already coming out of the pit?
Yeah, I'm at the pits.
I hate him.
Oh my god!
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, oh my god.
Women's
Almost.
around. Oh, jeez.
Caution flag is out.
Coming to start the final lap of the race, the field decided to try that again. Instead of using just one car, using all of them.
No! Oh, no!
White flag.
Oh, Mark's coming out. That's not it. Damn it. I can't take third.
Oh, good lord.
This is just a mess.
Ah!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Jacob's whimpered "I'm so sorry" makes me laugh every time I hear it. It may have been a bit of a crazy race, but it was at least fun. Not competitive in the slightest. Max Heyman crossing the line 26 seconds clear and crowning himself as champion in the process. Oh, well, that was, to quote you, Jacob, that was certainly a motor race. It's about 25 minutes until the driver's briefing, and as it stands, there are two people. Me and Max. Both of us have just come in and practiced today for the last minute. I've not had a chance during the week. I don't think Max has either. I mean, he doesn't really have much incentive to. He's already the champion and knows that there's not going to be much of a field to challenge him at the moment.
Yeah, do we want to 100% focus, or can we stay in this channel the whole time?
We can stay here. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, great.
And with that decided, qualifying. Max coming home 1.1 seconds clear. This was more Montreal than Buenos Aires. Our final start of the season would be our second rolling start. Slightly odd to do a 1v1. It's like the finale of the Piston Cup going down at Daytona.
The pace car is pitting in. Green flag, green flag.
And off we go. And I know I'd have a challenge on my hands today. Knew Max was quicker over the long run and the one lap pace. And I also knew that my setup once again wasn't the best on straight line speed. I had to make these infield corners count and just try and make sure I was still with him on the oval sections so I could benefit from the slipstream. Fortunately, didn't seem like that's how it was going to go. Job done. Over a second clear before the oval section for the first time. 9 minutes into the race, the gap up to 5 seconds. Max just driving away with it. However, it is always nice to know that champions, they're just regular people too, you know?
Watch out, yellow flag. Yellow flag.
Oh no.
One golden opportunity and I go and do the same thing. Unbelievable.
But who decide to make the first corner so bumpy?
Oh dear.
I'll say this while we're both on the oval. I saw the yellow flag and got so excited and started looking for where you were, and then I just forgot to take the corner. It was genius. You know what? I just wonder. I don't actually think I want to win. Dear me. Anyway, not long to go. Max cruising, and then my comments from the last round echo through time and hit Max. He decides to go into the pits. You can see the tower on the left, the time's coming down. He's in the pits now. His dot is on the map behind my silly little box. But he is going to at least try and make a bit of a fight of it, a bit of entertainment for the final 6 minutes plus 1 lap of the season. He'd be coming at me with fresh tyres. I'd be on dead ones. Could I defend? So, into turn 1. And as you saw before, I wasn't the best at this, the bumps catching me off guard, and once again, not the best run through that corner. But power down, past the pit exit, what would the gap be between us? It settles on around 4.5 seconds. However, in almost no time at all, that gap disappears. And here's where that extra grip of Max really comes into play. I mean, he managed to put the gap between us on the first lap when we had similar tyres anyway, but now with that tyre deficit through that corner, he powers away. Over a second between us. And as the clock strikes 0, I realise that that's the least of my problems, as I know we're about to do another lap and a half, but I only have enough fuel for 1 lap. So, realising that the one good thing I've done in all of the WMSC races, both World Tour and America, is I made sure I finished them. So I cruised to the line to keep my finishing record intact. Just FYI, the only reason I'm going incredibly slow is I've underfueled massively, so I'm just coasting to get across the line. I've got 0.3 litres left, so I'm just 6th gear, nice gentle 100 miles an hour, and
That's one.
That's the checkered flag.
that was very sportsmanly of you, Max.
You are the only one who was there every race who you deserve to win.
I appreciate it. I've got just enough to do 1 donut.
You want to play bumper car or something?
The end of the season may have been a massive anticlimax, but you know what? At least there were donuts. In the final driver's standings, Max Heyman is the champion and I finish 2nd. It's worth noting that Max, who also won the WMSC III Europe title at the same time, probably would have won or at least been a main contender even if the numbers hadn't dropped off. Me on the other hand, I know full well I would not have been 2nd and I certainly would have been a race winner. Top 10 is my prediction for what would have happened. Maybe a podium in there as well. Maybe. In the Constructors, Super Gazelle Racing also ended up as runners-up, with every driver having contributed points to the team total. ORSL are currently working on what changes they can make to boost and maintain numbers for their 2024 championships. As for me, I've been thinking about what's next for me and sim racing and competitive sim racing, and I'll share that with you another time. For now, I want to thank everyone involved with the WMSC III America 2023 Championship, whether organising or competing, and especially to those who've appeared in my videos throughout the season. Also a special thanks to Kevin for race engineering for me as well on a couple of occasions. And of course, thank you to everyone who's watched the videos, who's followed my first league racing season. We've come a long way since those ill-advised first videos on F1 2019 and Project Cars 2. But we still have a long way to go. I just don't know what route I'm taking yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with another video very soon.